odds? Well, look who's first. Shocker of all shockers. Sorry, I was just catching up on some of my favorite reading material. That's right, food and drink. All right, we'll set this down. And actually, the odd thing is, and I can't find it now because, now I want to show you something. I can't find it. Anyway, we'll set that aside for now. Hey, everybody. Happy Tea Tuesday. Mr. Zabo, let me know when it's on the way, the thing you're sending. All right. Elise, thanks for joining. Peyton, as always, on the nose. And Backyard Party, thank you for joining on Tia Tuesday. I'm going to be making a couple different cocktails, but I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. So buckle up, buckle in, grab a beverage, and join me because we're just going to start rolling. All right. So first things first. I did a little bit of like day in the life of me last week, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because it's going to segue. We've got segues and tangents and all kinds of, loops and things going on today. So in the day, a day in the life of me, I start off with my morning coffee, obviously, unless I'm having tea. Sometimes I have tea. Hang on one second. No, I'm good. All right. I didn't forget anything. That was just mess with you. Anyway, I start off with my morning coffee or tea, and I do some of my admin. Sometimes there's some reports I need to write, some proposals I need to finish off. My boss is like, I need this, I need this, I need this, whatever. And then I set about my day, running around, picking up and dropping off product to accounts, delivering kits to PR companies, and doing stuff for the LCBO or whomever. Today, again, got up, had coffee, did some admin stuff, delivered some product to a new partner, I guess you'd say, in that I'm working with a company called Good Behavior Ice Cream. That's what I want to show you. Good Behavior Ice Cream. These guys are locally made, and I'm big on supporting local. Give them a follow at GB Ice Cream, gbicecream.ca. This is the Rose Bouquet. Cream, milk, sugar, eggs, raspberries, rose water, and lemon. This stuff is fantastic. I've got a couple other samples from them. They did a strawberry cheesecake where they literally took a strawberry cheesecake, graham crust, cream cheese, sour cream, strawberry coulis, and just threw it in the ice cream mix, which is and it's fantastic. They did a torta del nonna, which is ricotta cheese, lemon, and toasted pine nuts. Oh my God. Anyway, delivered some stuff to them because, thanks, Stan. Appreciate it. You're pretty awesome yourself. They're doing a partner with Food Toronto, who has close to 70,000 followers, and they're doing a tiramisu ice cream, or as I like to call it, a tiramisu ice cream, because they're going to be using tiramisu, Tia Maria in their tiramisu ice cream. Hey, Chef. Thanks for joining, Chef Zandona. They're also doing a daiquiri ice cream, and I dropped off a bottle of my favorite rum, Florida Canyon 12 year, as you're all well aware. And we had a little chat, and he gave me some samples. And my boss had also asked me, because she's the national brand manager, if I had any recipes for Tia Maria or Di Serono and Amarula, which is a fruit cream liqueur. I don't know if you've seen this in the LCBO. And you've heard me talk before, the fact that I'm not, thanks for joining, that I'm not, or I wasn't, a big fan of cream liqueurs. And at one point when hey, Elizabeth, announced Di Serono Velvet, I'm like, man, I have to, promote a cream liqueur. And then I tasted this and I'm like, man, I get to promote a cream liqueur. And then they told me about the next innovation coming down the line, which is, I know it's coming to Alberta before Ontario because Alberta's more fun when it comes to liquor laws. Then we're going to get Tia Maria Matcha, which is a green matcha tea cream liqueur. This stuff is actually really, really good. So I had to go back and retry Amarula. and it's actually a lot better than I remember it. I used to drink it way back in the day before I knew about mixology and cocktails, and before I had a more, I don't know if educated or refined is the right word. Refined makes me sound snobby, because I still love me a good PBR. Um, I also love me a good PB&J, so my palate's not that refined. It's just more educated, I guess, is the best way to say it. So I've got this Amarula fruit cream liqueur, which is made from the marula fruit. Um, and to smell it, it smells like Neapolitan ice cream. You get the chocolate, you get the vanilla, you get that strawberry fruity note. Apparently, marula fruits are really, really good for you. Um, and inside the fruit, so you eat the fruit and you get to the stone pit, you crack that open, there's something in there that looks like a hazelnut, which is apparently really, really good for you and rich in antioxidants. Personally, I'm pro-oxidant. See what I did there? Anyway, Amarula fruit cream liqueur. And it basically tastes the way it smells. It tastes like Neapolitan ice cream. You get a cocoa-y note, you get some vanilla, you get some fruity strawberry kiwi kind of note going on in there. Oh, don't boo, Stan. Especially since I'm about to give you a plug. So, like I said, my boss asked me to do something with Amarula and Tia Maria because what we're going to be doing is putting what we in the business call liquid value adds, like those little mini bottles that I like to use because they make my hands feel big. Um, and we're going to put those little minis of Tia Maria on bottles of Amarula with a neck tag for a cocktail recipe. So, oh gosh, here we go again, Peyton and Stan. Anyway, she asked me to if I had any cocktail recipes. I said I'll take a look. If I don't, I'll come up with something. So obviously, my afternoon was spent making cocktails. Hashtag my job is cooler than yours. I'm just kidding. Because, like I said, I still have to do all that back office admin stuff and Workday and Concur expenses and PowerPoint and yada yada yada. Lobster bisque. Um, anyway, I started playing around with stuff, and I've got some raspberry tea that I made, and obviously I brewed up some espresso. And one of the cocktails I came up with was literally just the espresso martini. The only difference is I took out Stan's Vibrova and I added the Amarula, and it was actually really, really tasty. And I might just put that one forward because it's simple to make. You can do it with cold brew coffee, espresso, um, Tia Maria, and Amarula. Boom, 3 ingredients. And you know I love my simple cocktails. But I'm still going to give Stan a little bit of love because we're coming into summer, and this is not about Amarula, this is about Tia Maria. So we're going to make a Tia Maria cocktail that you're going to love to crush in your backyard, on your balcony if you're in a condo. Hopefully, we can get it into some bar and restaurant patios across the country because it's so simple to make and it's so delicious. So here we go. I've already said too many words. All right, ounce and a half of my Tia Maria into my shaker. And this is where you don't get to boo me anymore, Stan. I know I took the Vibo out of the espresso martini for the Amarula promo. Um, Stan, you gotta do something about your bottle caps because this keeps happening to me. I'm just kidding. Too many Wheaties this morning. Anywho, I'm going to take 1 ounce of Vibo or Vibrova Polish rye vodka. Drop that in there. I'm going to take a little bit of fresh lemon juice. I'm going to take about 3/4 of an ounce of that. That's the hardest sounding lemon ever, right? It's pre-squeezed into a jar. And then I'm going to take my raspberry tea. I'm going to do about 2.5 ounces. There we go. Of raspberry tea. I'm going to put ice in my shaker. See, I didn't forget my ice today. And we're going to give that a really good shake. You're welcome, Stan. You know I always do things to help you out, buddy. I love you. In a very romantic, professional kind of way. There we go. All right. Fantastic. All right, next I'm going to grab my glass. Now I'm using a Collins glass, which is basically a highball glass or long tall. See, now I've got long tall Sally in my head. Anyway, we'll strain our cocktail into it. There you go. A bit more of the visual. The one thing I forgot to do was get raspberries ahead of time, because it's kind of a coffee / chocolate raspberry lemonade. The Tia Maria sort of loses some of its coffee and it gets a bit more of a chocolatey note. But we really want to, and I want to step this up with the garnish. Like I said, hey Jen, been a while. Thanks for hopping on, love. Mr. Jordan Bushell, everybody. Mr. Jordan Bushell is the global brand ambassador for Hennessy Cognac, and he's an absolutely fantastic gentleman, an ace at hospitality. Taught me a lot about what I know. Good to see you, sir. It's been far too long. You and I should collaborate one of these days. I would love to have you on and do a live chat. Likewise, my brother. Park cocktails one day. We're not going anywhere, right? Anyway, I hope all is well with you and the fam. Next up, I'm going to grab a slice of lemon. There we go. Boom. And we're going to add a metal straw because, sustainability and reusability. And there we go. We have a chocolate raspberry lemonade for you. It's fantastic. Oh, so good. Like I said, the Tia Maria loses a little bit of that coffee and it develops a little bit more chocolate when it hits those notes in the tea. And that raspberry tea, that's just President's Choice, Raspberry Thriller Herbal Tea, which is something I drink on a regular basis. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Bushell. Again, I hope all is well with you. Let's do a bottle swap, and then I can, do some Hennessy Tia Maria or Hennessy Di Serono cocktails like the French Connection, which is cognac and Di Serono, right? Fantastic cocktail named for the Gene Hackman movie from the 70s. You were around in the 70s, right? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, there's not actually any chocolate, Elizabeth. It just sort of has more of a chocolatey note than a coffee note. It's just that simple. Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. I love it. I'll be in touch. I'll message you offline and we can chat about collaborating and whatnot. That would be fantastic. All right. So like I said, there's a few other things I wanted to talk about today. Always garnish your cocktails and a day in the life and things like that. Cocktail menus. And I know that we're all looking at the fact that we're probably going to be locked down in Ontario until June of 2043. No, I'm just kidding. I think that announcement comes down on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, that they're looking to lock down. I mean, daily cases today was 2,000 and change, so that's heading in the right direction since it was like 3,400 last week. But we definitely need to curb things down still even more. Cocktail menus. This is something I've wanted to talk to you guys about for a bit. So when things do open up again and you can go to a patio, either indoor, outdoor, wherever you're at, because I know we've got some people from Alberta and we've got, Michelle from BC. Thanks for hopping on and having a cocktail in the middle of your work day. I'm going to tell your boss, but not really, because I don't know your boss. Oh, this is delicious. All right. When it comes to cocktail menus and when you go to patios and bars and whatnot, and you see the cocktail list, do you know how it comes together? We're going to talk about that. Because it's a lot of fun building a cocktail menu. It can also be a bit of a challenge, depending on the establishment you're bartending at, and things like that, and, whatnot. So sometimes bartenders will just be like, okay, we want to make a vodka cocktail, a gin cocktail, a rum cocktail, a tequila cocktail, a whiskey cocktail. And they're going to start there. Sometimes bartenders will be like, well, let's do a themed cocktail menu, which can be great, but sometimes it can end up being a little bit kitschy. I've seen cocktail menus based on cartoon characters. I've seen cocktail menus based on 1980s pop songs. Now, the name of one was great. It was called Just Can't Get Enough, and it was an absolutely fantastic cocktail. You're like, damn, I just can't get enough of this. for the Depeche Mode song. I know the West is the best, Kyle, blah, blah, blah. Just send that big box of love that you've got for me, all right? Um, Things like that. I have done movie themed cocktails. So cocktails based on movies. So there was one inspired by the movie Tombstone, which is a Western that I absolutely love. And one of the most iconic movie lines, in my opinion, came out of that. It's like, you gotta do something or you're just gonna stand there and bleed. Great line from Kurt Russell to actually Billy Bob Thornton. Go back and watch the movie and you'll be like, that's Billy Bob. But yes, it is. Um, I've wanted to do, and I've written cocktail menus that have never been used based on heavy metal songs or based on movie characters or based on video games or whatever. But I'll say this, there's a lot of time and effort and cost that goes into building any cocktail menu. It's not like a bartender just sits down and goes, boom, here's a cocktail. Yeah, great, let's call it this, put it on the menu. There is the actual creation of the cocktail. So coming up with something new and original, whether it's a riff on a classic or whether it's something truly unique, which I love to see and I love to try. And then they've got to cost it out. How much is the liquor cost? What's the alcohol cost? What's this cost? How much can we sell it for and still be reasonable? Do we need to change it? What do we name it? How do we theme things? Hey, Mr. Delta, how you doing? We're just talking about cocktail menus, something I know that you're familiar with. So there's costing, there's naming, there's, listing out, all sorts of things. So there's a lot of work that goes into a cocktail menu. My point is, when you go to a bar and restaurant or restaurant, whatever, don't just get a glass of Pinot Grigio or the local IPA. I mean, it's great to support local. I'm not saying don't have a local IPA, but take a look at the cocktail list. Doesn't matter if you're at like Moxie's. Well, it might matter because I might judge you if you're at a Moxie's. I'm just kidding. I only say that because I used to work there briefly. But if you go to a place that has a truly unique craft style cocktail list, have a cocktail. I used to not know what good cocktails were. Now, yes, that was coming up on 13 years ago. I thought cocktails were funny things in hurricane glasses that were funny colors with umbrellas and fruit and girly and whatnot. All I would ever do is have gin and tonic, Guinness, or scotch when I was out, or beer. Maybe my buddies and I would go and play pool and have a pitcher of beer, but I would never order a cocktail. And then I found out what good cocktails were. I watched Mr. Dale DeGroff, who's known as King Cocktail. He is legendary in the cocktail and bar world for resurrecting the cocktail culture in North America. I saw him and I saw Frankie Solerica, bar chef, a very, very unique experience type bar here in Toronto, which does molecular cocktails. I actually was served a cocktail with a knife and fork. And that's not something you normally think of, but it was an absolutely awesome experience. So I found out what good cocktails were, and I went home and I fell in love with cocktails. So being given the opportunity to make cocktails and to build cocktail menus for places like Versailles back in the day, Campagnolo, one of Toronto's best Italian restaurants, the Spoke Club, the Cloak, working on cocktail menus at Miss Things with Robin Wynn, probably one of the best rum guys in Canada that I know personally. It's a lot of fun, but it's also, like I said, a lot of work. So please appreciate that when you're out and about. Even if you're looking at to-go menus, bars and restaurants in Ontario are now allowed to sell cocktails to go. Not just cocktail kits, but actually pre-bottled cocktails. And you saw me last week. I did a partnership with a bar and kitchen. I'm just going to grab it for you now, just to remind you. I didn't forget. I just left it cold. All right. So I did a collaboration with a bar and kitchener called Sugar Run. It's a rum speakeasy, very Art Deco. It kind of looks like a bar that was used in The Godfather 2 when Pacino says to Fredo, "I know it was you." Anyway, that's it. It very much has that feel and vibe to it. But they're doing pre-bottled cocktails. This is a liquid marzipan cocktail. It's Di Serono, it's Florida Canyon rum, it's eggs, it's almond, it's cream, it's rose water. This stuff's absolutely fantastic. But look at purchasing pre-bottled cocktails and supporting local establishments like that. That's a lot more words, so hang on a second. But now I'm going to make you one of the cocktails, and you never know, this might just show up on a neck tag at the LCBO. So, you thought I was going to drop that, didn't you? No, I practiced that. All right, so here's what I came up with this afternoon with Tia Maria and Amarula. I'll get you the recipe, Elizabeth, don't worry. I don't think Sugar Run will deliver this. Well, you're in London, so reach out to @Sugar Run and see if they still have some around. I know it was a Mother's Day thing. Take a look. Reach out to them if they've still got it. You never know. Maybe they'll get it to you somehow. Or you can go up to Kitchener and pick one up. All right, so I'm going to go 1.5 ounces of my Tia Maria. Again, this is just a classic espresso martini with a twist. Typically, I would then add Stan's Vibrova vodka, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not. Boo. Sorry, Stan. I give you a lot of love. I got to spread the love around, right? Otherwise, people are going to start thinking weird things about us. Next, I'm going to take, I don't know why this keeps happening. All right, next I'm going to take 1 ounce of my Amarula fruit cream. Now, the tricky thing about using certain cream liqueurs, not all, certain cream liqueurs in cocktails, is you have to be aware of curdling. Amarula will curdle in the presence of citric acid. So it's a bit of a challenge to make a cocktail. Again, talking about cocktail managers and whatnot. It's a bit of a challenge to make a cocktail that's balanced but doesn't have any citrus in it. So how do you keep it from being too sweet, too this, too this, too this, too off-center without using things like citric acid and whatnot? Because, like I said, it'll curdle, and nobody wants to drink a curdled-looking cocktail. Like, that's just gross, right? Next up, I've got my espresso. So I'm just going to add 1 ounce of espresso because I don't like sleeping. All right. And then we're going to shake it up. Icing shaker. And I'll back away so the shaking isn't too loud again. There we go. All right. Well, thanks, Peyton. I'm glad that you sleep is for the week. Peyton, I know how much you love your afternoon naps. I don't actually know if that's true or not, but, felt like I might take a chance to make a little bit of fun of Peyton for a change. All right, so I've got my glass here now. This is what we call a Nick and Nora. You can use martini glass, you can use coupe, and there we go. Fills it perfectly. You'd think I've done this before. All right, I'm just gonna set that down for a second. Yeah, naps all around, and she says sleep is for the weak. You're a walking contradiction, Peyton. Shaking is the great part of a cocktail because you know what went in there, and when you're shaking a cocktail, you're like, okay, the ingredients are coming together, there's the chill, there's the dilution, and I can sort of see in my brain the flavor is just sort of becoming one cohesive thing. It's really kind of cool. You're right. Shaking is cool. Plus, it's a really good workout. Back when I was at Miss Things, there was times when I would be double shaking cocktails. So I would have a shaker in one hand and a shaker in the other, 2 cocktails or maybe 4 cocktails, and just go into town, double shaking. It's a really good workout. I would shake at Miss Things 150 cocktails a night, personally, or more, depending on how busy you were. Sweet. I got a little bit more raspberry tea. Sweet. I'm just going to top up my tea, my lemonade. Whoop. There we go. Now that this other one has had a chance to settle, boom, there you go. So you still get that nice crema on top from the espresso, but it's obviously not dark like your traditional espresso because we are using Amarula fruit cream liqueur. And here we go. Oh yeah. Whew, this is delicious. Now I did a few different ones today. I did one with the raspberry tea, which was good, but a little bit on the sweeter side. It didn't have as much structure. The espresso here gives it a lot more structure. Shake, shake. Shake, shake to make that money. That's right, Santiago. Love it. Well, this is true. It depends on who's working. I'm I miss things. I miss being behind a bar. I'm not gonna lie. I miss being on either side of the bar, really, on the stool or behind the bar. Um, Thanks. You know what? It's a decent crema. I mean, I'm just using my Nespresso machine. I'm not using real espresso. Well, I mean, it is real espresso, but I'm not using a mocha or an actual espresso machine. Just Nespresso. Um, it is kind of tiramisu-ish, actually, Kyle. Now that you mention that, I should garnish this with like a chocolate glazed ladyfinger or something like that, or biscotti or something like that. So thanks for that, Kyle. I'm stealing that, and I'm going to take the credit for it too. Just kidding, Kyle. Just in the big box of white stuff. You know what I mean. All right. Cheers, everybody. I got to wrap it up. The dog looks like he needs to go outside. So I'm going to put this back in a safe and responsible manner. I'm going to put it back in the fridge for when I'm done. You're right. The more I taste it, Kyle, it's tiramisu or tiramisu. Um, Coffee crisp. After that, you're going to, I don't know, you're going to want to make me make I don't know, a Take Five cocktail, Kyle. Again, I would need to have a Take Five to know what it tastes like to make a Take Five cocktail. And I've done coffee crisp cocktails, so there. Actually, I did a coffee crisp ice cream at one point too, way back in the day, back when I was living in Kitchener. All right, everybody, have a great Tuesday night, and I hope to see you all on Friday, 6 o'clock, or 3 o'clock if you're out west, for Fizz Friday. If you want to know something, if you want me to talk about something, please send it to me. Hit me up in a DM, tag me, whatever. Email me at amail@pmacanada.com. Whatever. Hit me up. I would love to answer any questions you may have. And there you have it. Thanks, gang. I'll see you later. There we go.